Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. A new kind of tea. I know it doesn't really look like a proper cup of tea, but actually, it's not bad. Pretty good, actually. It's called fruit tea, a mixture of berries and very berries with pomegranate. So, anyhow, not bad. The reason I'm having this is not because I search and search to find this particular tea for this time of the day. It's because I have run out of tea and I couldn't find anything. Just looked all through my tea stuff. That seemed most promising. Not letting me throw up after drinking. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. I've tested this microphone. It seems to be working, so I hope I'll find out by the end of this if it's working or fooled me again. Okay. Today, I don't want to talk about relationships with you, while what I'm going to say is actually going to tie into relationships and your pain, because that is part of what the psyche is responsible for affecting. And what do I mean by that? Well, we all know that a thought process, a thought is born from the memory. We've talked about this in other videos before, and I'm sure that you're now expert in understanding that. But for the ones who just tuned in and ignored everything else I've said so far, so let me just quickly, let's go back to a million years ago. The man who was just becoming a man. I mean, we human beings becoming on the process of becoming a man, and becoming who we were supposed to become. So we walk in one day and we have no program, no thought in our mind other than the core center instincts that is already hardwired into the system, which makes us react to certain things, survival and so on and so forth, basic instincts. So we're walking and we stumble on a rock and we fall and we feel hurt on our knees or hand or whatnot. And that action gave a certain experience, and that experience, the pain and the fact that we walked not properly, we didn't put our foot on a flat area, it was a rock underneath or whatever it was that caused us to fall. We realized that action resulted in certain experience. A certain experience gave us knowledge, and that knowledge became part of the memory, and the next time we would be more careful when we're walking in that kind of a terrain, and we won't easily stumble and fall. And then other things happens, and again more memory is created in our memory, which creates the consciousness. And from that field of consciousness, that field of memory, that accumulated memory, which we call it the field of the known, a thought is born. And from that thought, which was born from the field of the memory, new action, new experience, new knowledge, and then that knowledge becomes memory, and from that memory then another action, and go on and so on and so on. That's how simplistically said how thought is born. Now, the accumulation of this memory gives us a certain psychological security from knowing certain things. Knowing what happened yesterday, what I did the day before, what happened last year, what did so and so say, what movie was about, what that mountain is doing, there's about to erupt, I better get the hell out of here, all these things. Because the memory gives you that kind of information, and that kind of information creates certain kind of strength in knowledge, and that gives you certain psychological security. And of course, some memories, such as knowing about math and sciences and physics and so on, that's different. We need to know that in order to advance and go on. But the rest of the memory is basically useless because they're dead. They're gone. But what they do, they created that sense of belonging, sense of me, because you, who you are, is your consciousness, is how you're put together, and how what you have experienced, what you know, and how you function is all based on what is in your consciousness, what's in your memory. That's where you get your information to react on it. The thought is responsive to memory. So if you have received that kind of a memory which is dead, is good for nothing, but you feel certain sense of psychological security from it because you know stuff, that by itself, now we're coming back to this era, a million years past, we're here, so that constant accumulation of memory gives you a certain kind of, beside that psychological security that you feel you know stuff, you know how things are, so therefore you feel secure, it also creates a certain continuity. Memory, constantly building up on it, new things happen, and more memory. That continuity of memory, even though it's dead, doesn't exist, but there's a continuation of that whole. It's like a road you started and you're still on the road. As long as you know how far you've come and what things you passed along the way, you feel you know where you are. That's a kind of a feeling you get when you're on a road from point A to point E, from this city to that city. The fact that you remember what things you passed along the way, then you have a sense of knowing where you are, just because of what you have crossed, what you have passed, what you've gone through. Remembering what you've gone through, how you drove, how the weather was, it was raining, it wasn't, what stores you passed on, what little villages you passed on. All that gives you a sense of knowing that you've been doing what you've been doing and kind of where you are, even though you're not arrived, you haven't arrived to the destination, but gives you a certain kind of a notion, and that gives you a good feeling of you know what's happening. The continuity, you want to stay on the road. Now, if happens that your car goes off the road, you feel the continuity is broken, and you feel rather confused, shocked, figure out, okay, what's the rest of this? I've come this far, where am I? I'm not on the road to know where I'm going, the direction that I'm going. I'm kind of feeling I don't belong to where I am. It's unknown to me. I'm outside of the road because my car broke down, or there was a rock, then it got my car veering off to wherever, the side roads. Now, the continuity is one of the important things about the memory. When something happens to your life, such as a breakup, it's really not the fact that you really miss that person so much, because really if it was good, it wouldn't be broken up. You guys would still be together. So obviously, for one reason or another, between one of them or both of you, it just wasn't working somehow, something wasn't. And regardless of if it's mutual or not, if it's not working, it's not working. So if it's not working, then really it's not the person that you're missing that has made this whole feeling not being in your life. That's not what's making you uncomfortable only. Yes, you miss the person and all that. We've talked about it in the other videos, but this is a different video. You basically, what you're really also feeling sad or upset is the confusion of having been kind of gone off the road. You feel like there's no continuity in the memory that you've been accumulating all these years with that person or through your daily routine, because you feel the continuity is broken up. Not that that relationship was so all that, is that you kind of lost, well, you always had your norm, your order, what to do, what not to do, what to expect, and the continuity of the memory with that person was accumulating every day. Now it's broken for one reason or another, like your car has veered off. And so you're trying to get back on the road. And that is the confusion that makes you feel really uncomfortable or makes you feel like you really want that person back. You want the continuity back, not that necessarily person. So for that, go meet other people, create another situation, and create new stories and get back on the road. It's like just changing the tire, getting back on the road. And here you are, same direction, continuing, and the road is connected again. Nothing is broken. Continuity is back in place. Your memory is now generating again more. No confusion, no breakups. There are things to be done now with this new person or new plans you have for your life. Take a break all by yourself. Create that continuity, because that's really what's missing, not the relationship. That's another angle for you to think about, that why you feel the way you feel, and perhaps you will realize it's all about thoughts and process of thinking, the consciousness, the continuity of the memory, and it's not really all about that person or that relationship. Hope you will have a good day and evening, and we'll talk soon again.